Okay. Good afternoon and happy holidays. This is Jupiter Exile, and I'm going to go do a bit of farming so I can have a good amount of blood vials. I ran out. But after that, we're going to be going right after Orphan of Kos. So make a quick switch to make sure I've got my blood harvesting stuff active. So this will be like a 10-minute warm-up period, and then we'll get into the real stuff. So we'll take a moment with air and moon. And there might be, I wanted to see how good the farming was if I just clear a lot of the fishing hamlet. So I'm going to go to the lighthouse hut and kind of reverse clear from there and see how many echoes I can get. So my benchmark for blood echoes is about 45,000 from the pigs and the Nightmare of Menses. If I can get them more easily with some kind of a circuit over here, then I'll stick with this. But let's try it out. Let's see. I think the fishing hut might be too far up. Is this the one that gives me the? I was looking for the option that would allow me to go backwards a bit. I think I'm looking for the fishing hamlet one. Yeah, because this path is a little tenuous with the shark guy and such. Like, he's problematic, I think, for my safe farm. Yeah, so I'll just let him kill me. I'm going to move to the other location. I think the start of the fishing hamlet, I think I can cheese my way into a lot of blood echoes by cleverly using the explosive jars. I need to check, like, per enemy, how much we're getting. I might take a break a bit into the stream to make more coffee. We'll see how long we're at this. Yeah, yeah. Excuse me. Man, it's been a while since I could, like, stream with the sun out. It's so nice. Okay, so we're going to quickly relocate over to the fishing hamlet. All the item descriptions in Bloodborne are just so delicious. Okay, I believe I can drop down and kill this guy without raising any sort of alert, as well as you. And then the maneuver, I believe, is to backstab him. Never mind. Well, come over here a little bit. He is worth how much? I was hoping it would give me the blood echoes before I finished dying. Okay, I think this is not going to be worthwhile compared to the Menses pigs in terms of a farm. There are enough variables. If I had approached him quietly, I could go backstab into visceral into detonate, and I would get him killed. But I think that unless he is worth... I'm going to try it one more time. He has to be worth at least double what a pig is worth for this to be a good loop. Because I can't even, like, get out of here super easily. And given that these guys are about... Yeah, see, here I've already alerted him too early. And now I'm dead. Yeah, this is a much, much harder thing to do. Hey, lag strike. Oh boy, that's a whole thing. Merry Christmas Eve. You on 7 days? I saw that you were in the voice chat earlier, but I didn't really want to get into 7 days at the moment. I was more in a Bloodborne mood. I noticed that they got A20 out to like a full release, the stable release. I didn't think we were necessarily getting like a lot of glitches. I couldn't find the patch notes between experimental and stable. Okay, anyway, gotta go farm blood vials, like you do. Gotcha, gotcha. Yep. So I have to put together a couple of those, take a look at it. When you generate these maps, do you generally like peek at a spoiler to see kind of what it looks like? Oh, and unrelated to that, I saw a video by somebody online regarding some of the changes and buffs. There's a note that lists like increased arrow damage, the degree to which the arrow damage, whoops, the degree to which the arrow damage has been increased is actually insane. Um, Most arrows do 40 to 50% more damage than they used to. There are some cases and combinations where I think you get like 80 or 90% more damage out of an arrow shot or a crossbow. Both arrows and crossbows got buffed. I was thinking about that. I was also thinking I might do like dedicated perception and do spear fighting, because I think that building a melee base around the use of the spear would be easier and pretty satisfying. Building the punch 'em up melee base certainly works. It's a little weird though. Yeah, yeah. If you're just taking a glance to look for a good distribution, I think it works out. So I did head over to that Eve of Eve party last night, and I can tell you the full deets on that later. But there was plenty of time spent talking about Valheim, because apparently they've been doing that in a big way. And they were talking about some of the realities of running into Valheim with a big crowd, because they were like taking 8 people up against the dragon, and the way the boss scaling works in that game just made it kind of nightmarish. And it's interesting because it's like a whole different type of challenge when you have a certain number of people. Yeah, it sounds good. Do you get the? Can you do either type of server with the same from the same hosting service? I think most of them do like a variety of games like that. Oh, oh, thank goodness! I was saved because I was doing a visceral attack. And again. Hey, buddy. Nice. Yeah, it was a little tricky for me to get the host for the Valheim server last time because it was still pretty new. So the services they had for Valheim were a lot less refined than what they had for, say, like Minecraft. Yeah, we had a brief commiseration on how flipping impossible it is to find a traitor on any given seed. And I'm wondering if they've changed that yet or if they'll change that soon. Oh, and they told me they shared with me a story of fighting the bone mass before they like knew what was going on. So they all fought it with they all came to fight it with bows. So they had like 8 or 10 people trying to kill the bone mass with bows, but like shooting from archery towers that it couldn't reach up, but it was spitting blobs up into the towers to harass them, and they could basically just couldn't hurt it. It's resistant to piercing, and none of them had brought like hammers or maces. So they wound up beating it by like slamming the floors on one of the floors of their tower with the stag hammer, which causes an AoE damage, and they had to repair the floors while they were doing that. Yup. It was good that I had the advanced warning that I think I was just coincidentally using a mace at the time. No, I was using a mace because it was better on all the other skeletons that were in like the Black Forest. Yeah, I understand they've updated combat since I last played, so that'll be interesting when I get back to it. No, I haven't. There's a good amount of things I never did. Like I know you can tame wolves, and I never figured that out. Apparently, you can tame and ride the locks. You have to like craft a saddle in order to ride them. Have you tuned in for any of the earlier Orphan of Kos fighting? This dude is unsettling, but I think he's not as like he's definitely got some stuff going on, but um, I think I'm developing an understanding of him at a good rate. Yeah, yeah. If you don't scream all the time, you lose your Bloodborne boss cred. There's one. There's two. I could have punished that. Ah. I should have backed out of that. I had the wrong dodge direction on his little uppercut slam there, and it psyched me out a bit. So weirdly enough, apparently this dude is more vulnerable to fire than any other element. Though I think physical attacks work on him fine. When I first went up against him, I assumed he was kin. I tried doing lightning damage. He's doing like half as much. He's like not kin, not lightning vulnerable. And all of the late drops in this area, like I explored thoroughly all these caverns for all the bits of treasure that might give me an edge. And it's all things that don't work on him at all. Absolute signaling troll. Oh, dodge too early. I gotta get back in the sync of it. So I have been grooving on a good bit of, what's it called? Oxygen not included. I was playing for a little bit yesterday offline as well. I managed to fix the natural gas spill leak that was occupying a lot of my base. They've got a lot of new sensitivities and issues of sort. Um, what's it called? Duplicants are a lot less happy if they get exposed to natural gas and chlorine environments. It has like eye irritant, face irritant type of stuff that'll trigger, which is neat. They've also tightened up the use cases on polluted water, so you have to purify your water a bit more actively. Come on, give me a real opening. There. I could have done like a... There we go. That's my second. Oh wow, I got that. Ouch. And we're full. That's his big tantrum. I want to move off the beach into the water, please. Okay, now we've got his little pustule pluck attack things. Whew. I was slow on my punish. That dodge was very important. Okay, one more backstab, and I think he should be in phase 2. Okay, I think he should go for the transition now. He is not going for the transition. Okay. Oh, that was so weird. That was so weird. Neat. I also noticed that Bannerlord is 20% off until the 5th of January. So might pick that up soon. I don't know. Well, I've still got enough to groove on right now. I haven't finished Ruined King either. I made it like a little further, like one more dungeon in. It is a bit slower now that I'm playing it on Heroic. But it feels like about the correct challenge level. Mostly because when I was playing on one below Heroic, I really didn't need to use any consumables or tap into that at all. He does really love that approach. And I won't get a backstab off of that. But I can stagger him. There we go. It takes about 3 runs of just staggering him for it to count as much as 1 backstab. About 3 charge attacks is the same as the proper backstab punish. If I could get him to do that every single time, I could get more out of it. Ah, it ran straight into him. I was trying to have a diagonal bias in the dodge, but it didn't pick up. Yeah, that's right. You were saying that the high-level economy is kind of weird. Peculiar. So I'm not doing any traveling today, because my Christmas celebrations will be pretty much day of and day after, with family that's pretty local, so I don't need to worry too much. Today is just free. Um, and tomorrow I'll be starting off with a French toast casserole over at my younger sister's house. Ah, okay, so I don't think I can trigger a certain specific behavior. Oh, that's too far away. It went into his body again. I was holding strictly left on the analog. I think something about one of his legs being further forward is catching me. Let me see, I need to change my view up. Okay, if I'm watching the Twitch stream, I can see the delay. Oh, that's interesting. So that when you're going tactical, you can, like, understand things better. That's good. Yeah, that was always kind of a thing in Mountain Blade. If you don't apply some damage reduction, you just kind of get taken out, and, you know, that makes sense. Theoretically, if you want to command, you shouldn't be on the front lines, but it's fun to fight. I do have some distaste when you have the player damage reduction up, that, like, I'm affording myself a big advantage here. But at some level, it's just like quality of life. Doesn't that leap look so much like it's going to hit you? Oh my goodness. He just walked up and slapped me, and I had no idea what to do about it. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. Okay, he's real leap happy here. That's great. That's awesome. Keep it up, man. Blonk. Try and circle so I can get to the water. I think these projectile attacks do weird things sometimes on slopes. Oh, bummer. I knew that was going to hit me. I was hoping it wouldn't kill me. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think that's classic Mountain Blade. Like, don't get caught out. That's why a lot of the times it's just ride a horse. I think not riding a horse often feels like hard mode. Although you do take more damage if you get smacked while you're riding a horse. Don't run into couched weapons. Or what's it called? Like set spears. But it is fun sometimes to just run the character who's just like a line fighter with a whole bunch of archers. And you're just sitting back there with like maybe a crossbow and then sword and board. Or sometimes like crossbow, shield, spear is a pretty like fun, resilient set. Oh, that's death. Yeah, that was a screw up. So I'm losing out on the drag swing. Um, I'm avoiding it correctly, but I'm not sure what to do afterwards. I think I need to go for the big hit just to stagger him so that I can have the safety. I was thinking, like, hey, I could not go for the stagger and try and avoid his follow-up to see if I get a better opportunity. I'm not getting a better opportunity. It's just dangerous. So I just need to avoid that attack and then hit him with a big charge hit just to get the stagger in to make sure that I can get out again safely. Okay, I'm glad I hit his back, because I think that was the wrong direction to wrap around. Oftentimes I hit him on, like, that leg, that hip, and it doesn't count. This is the correct wrap, because... Never mind. Never mind. He just wants to decide his spine is elsewhere. I'm just going to use this as a heal opportunity and back off into the water. Alright. Come out here, buddy. Let's fight in the shallows. Nope, you just want to throw a thing at me and get a kill. Ay. I hate how much damage that splash does. I think that's his most annoying attack in phase 1. Sometimes he's going to be in that mood. Okay, so I guess if he's doing the slam, I actually should circle left, because it seems like that's putting me in the right position to get the backstab. I have found that the most reliable way to get the backstab, or the actual hitbox that I know is correct, is if you can line up the attack right on his crack. You can get him. Right on the butt. Okay, buddy. There's 2. There's 3. I'm gonna back up out of that. 2 reasons. One is that I need to heal. 2 is that if I run over into those rocks behind him, something random might happen with my character. Missed the backstab. And my dodge direction, I'm holding left on this, but it dodged me, like, it didn't look left relative to the boss. That was, like, left and away relative to the boss. It's not the direction I was holding. Quick stepping is really weird. I think when he's actually doing that big slam, if I'm close enough to him, I should just be strafing it. I shouldn't dodge that at all. I should walk around it. It's very intimidating, though. That was an ill-advised pattern for me to take. The what's it called? The charge attack I tried there, it was not going to be a backstab, so I should not have tried for it. Okay, so if I dodge towards him on that, I think I'm pretty likely to get wrecked. When he fully commits to the attack, though, I think that's possibly or technically an opening. Like, he's just sitting there. If I was not in the burst, I'm sure I could punish him really hard. I think it might be one of those not worth it openings. Something that, like, makes the fight riskier than it should be. Also, I wanted to try going back to the Hunter pistol, because when he did that earlier burst thing, and I went for a shotgun blast in between it, I thought my timing was good, but I didn't get the counter. And I'm wondering if the shotgun delay is to blame, maybe. If I'm going for a counter hit at the mid-range, I would probably want to be using a pistol. It's the close-up stuff that you want to use the shotgun for, but I don't like to bet on actually being in the swing range for a gun counter on a boss like this. It's one of the benefits of the counter being based on the gun in Bloodborne, is you can stagger people at a range. Okay. There's one. Let's count it out. There's two. That hit. Okay. So I know I had a late reaction there on going in, which is why I couldn't strafe it. But I'm pretty baffled that that actually hit me. I think it was trying to give me one of those hitbox cases where I'm going to armor the attack, but it was lethal damage, so I also died. But it wasn't going to stagger me on that. But it didn't matter because it's not the stagger I care about. It's the damage. Because those armor frames that are attached to, like, they bracket the invuln frames and the dodge, if I remember correctly. Those armor frames don't have any damage reduction on them. It's just armor. Whoa, 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 whoa. Camera. Camera, please. That was wild. Oh my goodness. This is a secret attack. He actually reached out and slapped the drone that is responsible for my point of view. I'm glad that happened early in the fight. Because if I'm gonna die to, like, honestly, bullshit, I'd rather it not be when I'm on a good groove. I think there's a lot of weird things that happen sometimes with these slopes and corners when you're fighting him. That's why I really appreciate that so much of his boss arena is water. Let's see, if I walk around here, will he start his approach? Okay, yeah, he will. But I want to start this fight in the water from here on out. Because I'm pretty done with all the slope-based... God dang it. I'm pretty done with all the slope-based oddities. I sacrificed a bit of initiative for this because his first two interactions on the beach are usually predictable and very nice to just answer. But I'm pretty done with the random camera stuff, or like there was that one or two times where my dodge was canceled because I apparently like went down a slope. There was an interesting glitch I saw somebody had posted to the Reddit a bit ago for Dark Souls 3. They were farming Silver Knights in Anor Londo, which is a very typical thing to do because matchmaking for the Blue Sentinels Covenant is super hard. But if you kill those guys, they have a drop rate for the currency that progresses that covenant. So a lot of people wind up having to farm them in order to get the last achievements that require you to fully unlock all the covenant miracles and stuff. What he had found was if you just look at that enemy in your periphery, if you just keep them in your peripheral vision, they have an attack that lunges them forward. You wait until they start that attack, and then you face fully away from them. And the attack glitches out, whiffs them over your head, and then drops them right in front of you, so you can do whatever you want for a bit. You could be charging a heavy attack, and they'll fly over you and be in a spot where they can get hit by it. Yeah, anything I decide to do after dodging the drag is kind of like a 50-50. Every other time I dodge the drag, my hit will stagger him. But if he hasn't taken damage recently, it's not going to stagger him. So I'm just kind of putting myself in a vulnerable case. So I can either track that, and I can do like dodge light, dodge heavy, as I'm dealing with that attack, or I can just dodge it and try to get away from it. He uses it too often for me to want to get no punish, so I think I'm just going to have to track the stagger on it. Anyways, the reason why the glitch happens theoretically is that, like a lot of other games, when you look away from something, it's rendering less. So it looks away from the Silver Knight and the staircase, and it's either something in the Silver Knight's animation or something about the staircase geometry. I didn't walk correctly back. Something about the Silver Knight or the staircase is unloaded because you look away from it, and then it causes the animation to jank out and makes them really vulnerable. That would be the really high tier strats if you could use that against one of these bosses. But I think these bosses are basically rendered at all times while you're fighting them. Everything they do. Usually, bosses don't do that sort of inconsistent stuff. There is one quirk that I have seen affect a few Bloodborne bosses, where if an animation or something like that carries them off of a staircase or a ledge, then their animation will like completely reset them, and they'll just go back to their standard like pose and stuff. But then they land and they can, act freely again, and no, couldn't punish that successfully. Whoops. Too far back. That's a bit of, like, those are the opportunities I'm worried about losing by moving to the water early. There's a couple of exchanges there that I didn't get to benefit from, really. There we go. Oh, that did, like, a lot less damage than usual? That's weird. Oh, well, there we go. That's 1,400. Yeah, I think it's just a low damage roll into high damage roll type of stuff. Yeah, I didn't get the staggering right. It keeps getting me. I'm standing at a position in these attempts that is different from what I was doing the last time I was working on him. I'm standing a little closer, and that's causing him to use this dragging attack more often. I'm trying to stand closer because I want to prompt his Screamless backhand combo, which I know I can punish. If I was better at it, I could also punish his forehand yo-yo swing, but I'm not getting that super consistently. Need to get into phase 2 for practice on that. Alright, so keep doing the same thing. I'm going to keep walking him into the water because even if I miss the early opportunity, I'll just do that for the consistent camera. Yeah, it's like I'm not going to be able to punish that from that angle. Oh, I could have punished that. Whoops. One hit. Walk away. I'm surprised I didn't stagger him. But alright. Okay, so if I do 2 dodges there to get to where I need to be, I'm not going to be able to get the backstab punish off. It took me too long to recognize the attack. I'm glad I got a punish at all, really. There we go. What do you want to do next? Jump rope. No, it's got to be earlier for the gunshot on that. That's fine. A direct hit from that is way better than taking the splash. Okay, I figured something out. Dang it. Yeah, I really cannot track his stagger property on just in general. Okay, it's got to be a light hit every time on that, and it's just like a little bit of something extra I get, but I need to leave. I could have sworn I was reading something about that attack where I can like dodge it left and then walk behind, and then just chill out behind him for a bit, and he might do something dumb. I'm going to try that a little bit, but I think what he's going to do is his sidestep delayed swing, and I'm going to have to dodge it on reflex. Well, not on reflex. I'm going to have to dodge it correctly. It's a big delay. Usually I can get out of it just by dodging out, but if I'm that close to him after dodging the drag swing, I don't know if I can. Nice, I still got that. There's one backstab. Backstab number 2. Backstab number 3. Number 4. It did not credit me the visceral. Clenched up for a bit there. Like, ooh. He's a very troubling boss. Backstab number 5. Ah, bad dodge. Bummer. 1 p.m.? Cool. Yeah, I'll jump in for that. I think I will do perception as the build. I'm interested in like the loot finding stuff and things like that. What do you think you're gonna build actually? Because I like there being variety in the server, and somebody should be doing farming. It's very helpful. I mean, I think it's easiest to play if somebody's doing farming, somebody's doing int, and probably somebody's doing strength for just raw resources. And I think the strength setup is kind of boring, but I mean, in a way. In a way, it's boring. In another way, it's kind of like hilarious. You gotta really like digging. There's one. That was a late movement on my part. I can just die. Yeah. It is definitely good for somebody to be on int. So I'll usually like 1 point in so I can unlock the forge promptly, but it feels super lame to wind up locked out of the workbench after a certain point. You could do like 14 days without getting the workbench, but like past that, once you're like level 30, it feels really lame to not have the workbench. Plus, you can unlock like the workbench and the cement mixer with the same talent point, if I remember right, which is pretty cool. But you do have to be pretty much unint build. Yeah, I think I am going to be trying Perception. That's definitely something I haven't mucked with before. There's one. Yeah, I messed up. That sequence actually messes me up a lot. So I know that you have a loot stage bonus based on, well, it's like, I don't remember if it's a bonus or a multiplier, based on where you're located. And you can find stuff earlier, notably earlier, if you're going to certain places. And I know that Pine Forest is the lowest, and that the Wasteland is the highest. I can't remember if snow or desert is considered bigger. Like, which of the two of those is the badder one? Ah, it's both. It's both. Cool. Yeah, so I might wind up making, like, wasteland forays if there's a wasteland nearby. Once I'm strong enough to deal with dogs. Backstab number 1. Whew, that almost hit me. Backstab number 2. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think the dead center does feel like it should be a wasteland. As long as it's not where people wind up spawning. But I think the spawning is all biased for pine forests and traders. I think this is about the distance I want to stand, like 4 orphans away from him. That was weirdly close for him to choose to do that attack. I think I could have wrapped behind him and gotten a better outcome. Yeah, okay. If he does it from that close up, I can punish it. Okay, I was stepping backwards, so I can't do the walk forward on that. Just a little bit of extra damage in there. Okay, yeah, here we go. The neutral. Master the neutral game. I wasn't feeling that one. He really just wants to get a slap off. It's like an open hand pimp slap ready to go. He's got it in the chamber, man. He wants it bad. Look at that, again. Always pimp slapping. I lost track of how many backstabs we're on, but it looks like we're 1 backstab away, maybe 2 backstabs away from phase 2. I could have punished that. Okay, this might be phase 2 territory, but there it is. Okay, it's when the wings stop moving is when I do the charge. That's his lightning call. Oh, gotta watch out for that. Yeah, I'm not very accustomed to his phase 2 stuff yet. It was theoretically a strong start, but I think I didn't quite trigger one of the backstabs, or I didn't get the payoff correctly. With the right timings, it's supposed to be backstab, payoff, backstab again, visceral. That's true. You spawn in the wasteland. You might be able to get out fine. Probably get out fine. See, yeah, so I almost got like 2 like backstab setups straight off after you went to phase 2. I should always be getting a backstab set off the transition. That's like not too hard to actually do. The 3 slaps on the floor followed by a jump, that is a backstab set off, but I have to unlock to get it. If I'm locked onto him, I can't take that opportunity. I could have gotten him on that one. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that was a hard mechanic. That's handy. Once you roam, though, then you're fair game. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to get far away enough with that. Okay, so yeah, going in for a charge attack off of that counter is a bad idea. If I get that counter, I should just go for a visceral on it, which is just like an extra 400. It's a little bit of free damage. Just take it and move on. It's not of definitive stuff. That's cool. I was wondering if maybe we wanted to set the 7th day frequency a bit higher, because I think, like, to me, with every 7th day being tough, I feel like the ideal play session is like 7 hours. So you're going through like one bracket, and that's a lot. I think if it was every like 5 days, it would be easier to fit it into my considerations. It might increase, however, the likelihood of logging on and it's Chaos Day, which might be like tricky. Yeah, I just couldn't get a break there. Couldn't get him back to that tasty neutral. Yeah, so I was thinking about that, but I was torn. I wasn't certain, like, if that would be a good idea or not. Let's see, what time actually is it? I need to do something about getting a clock around here. My phone's on the charger. When I have Bloodborne on this monitor, I can't see any kind of actual clock anywhere. See, I think I started at like 11, right? Maybe 11:30? It's been about an hour, so it's got to be like noon 30. Oh, you can change it down the line? That's cool. I assume that might be something you had to initialize with the server. Yeah, I flubbed that. Yeah. I should probably just do it more casually and not fret about it. That dodge was not going to work. Okay. Alright, let's get my head in the game for a moment. first backstab. Dang it. How many times have I dealt with that attack? He doesn't do that as often. Gotcha. Yes, you can change the XML while the server's, you change the XML and restart the server and it'll change up. One backstab. Second backstab. Third backstab. Cool. I wanted to go for at least 2 hours on this. So I'm going to commit to that, and I'll jump on later. I think that's the third backstab. Missed that. All right. It's extra visceral. Whiff. Way to choke, Hunter. Come on. I should have got him on that. My reaction to it's still a bit weird. Well, I know it can be a feint. I mistook his stagger for a crumple, or for like a proper backstab crumple. I even mistook the audio there. Hmm. Did I finish the Hintertomb? No, that's right. I got to a Hintertomb boss that was a PvP style fight, and I said, screw that. I think that actually killing him, actually winning that fight, would be like kind of exploity. I need to figure out if I'm gonna do that. I need to figure out how to just force him into a corner and probably like shotgun spam him all the way to death before his buddy shows up. If I can out the first guy, then I can fight the second guy carefully. I mean, the second guy only has a Rosmarinus, so he can't backstab me. Or he can't, like, randomly shotgun me to death. Which is the problem with so many other PvP fights in the game. They just kind of, oops, you're dead when you're playing on BL4. Because that is one thing that BL4, absolutely, the game is not balanced for you to be at level 4, is shotguns. They calculate per pellet, and when you have low defenses, they just, like, really suck. Are you kidding me? I'm getting robbed. That wasn't a backstab. I need to more quickly realize my bad backstabs, I guess, because I'm getting torn up on, like, no, that wasn't his back. Serious? Super weird. Let's see, so for perception, I guess I'll be on spears and rifles. I think the most important reason for everybody to be varied is just so that you can, like, call out to your bros, like, hey, you find this blueprint, that's my weapon, let me learn that. For everything that has a quality rating, basically. Pretty much just weapon blueprints. I think the steel spear blueprint shows up all the flippin' time for some reason. I think I found 3 of it last time. Yeah. Wow, what a weird first choice of attack. And I didn't get the backstab on it. Wow, my god. Where is this dude's back? He's got to put on some weight. It's like just the spine that counts, I guess. That would be a compilation for Orphan of Kos. It's like, where is Orphan of Kos's back? Like, all of these places are theoretically not his back. Yeah, it's peculiar. What's it called? Spears, I think, are they the only melee weapon that... Oh, do they break fast? Or is it that you can throw them? I did it again. I messed that up again. I think he's reading my triangle input when he decides to charge. He's like, you healed, I'm charging. Just something he can do, like, contextually during that combo, but I don't know. But spears are the only melee weapons that can use the flaming modifier, right? I think so. Ah, okay. So you don't have a power attack on, like, a regular basis, then. Oh yeah, those are also hafted, that's true. Although I think for strength... For strength, I think you usually want to be using the club over the sledgehammer. I think you can technically use the sledgehammer. Well, I suppose both of them are, like, theoretically melee weapons. The sledgehammer just has really high block damage, right? Honestly, I wouldn't want to use a sledgehammer for base defense, because you'll probably do a lot of damage to your base. Ah, okay. There's your back. I finally found it. After years of searching. 2 backstabs. 3 backstabs. Yeah, that is a thing. That's the wrong response, but I'm okay. 4 backstabs. 5 backstabs. I'm so glad I figured that out. Oh, I could have punished that. Thank you for the second chance. Okay, so I'm not pivoting around him enough on that one. Dodged it wrong. I was walking back for too long until I realized the attack, and I wasn't able to get to the right spot before the dodge. Got caught. I think I was 6 backstabs in. I think what we need is I think it's probably 8 backstabs to trigger his phase 2. I think I might need 12 or 13 total to win the fight. If I were a little more confident about my phase 2 handling, I'd start throwing buffs at this. And that would decrease the requirements a good bit. Because we could be doing like, 1600, 1700 damage probably, instead of like the 1200 that we're doing. And that'd cut out the need for like 2 or 3 backstab sequences. And if I cut out the need for like a backstab or 2 in phase 2, that's huge. Okay, so there's one. Yeah, that looks like... I don't know if that looks like 10%. Dang it. There's 2. That definitely looks like less than 20%. There's 3. Did I repair my weapon? A baseline hit for under 200 is low. Huh. That might just be the way we hit on this boss. I was already moving away, so I'm not going to reverse direction to try and punish that. That's definitely a throw. Dodging forward through the throw feels the most correct. At least having a forward bias. I think that was the 4th backstab? Dang it. Once again, I did not circle around enough for that. I feel like it's pulling me left every time I go for the counter on that, and I'm not sure why. I might need to unlock. Because I'm not biasing on the analog stick for that. I'm not like holding down a direction to try and direct the backstab. That's actually something I haven't experimented with. I know that if I'm not locked on, the backstab will just go in whatever direction I'm pressing. But if I am locked on, how does that interact? Do I need to hold down the direction? If I hold down one direction and change my direction in the middle of the backstab input, when do I have the windows to make those changes? How does like directional buffering work on that? So many nuances in how these things control. That would be such an interesting thing to like consult on as a playtester. It's like, yeah, how exactly are the control buffers intended to work for all of these combat interactions in your action game? And certainly, like, Bloodborne and Dark Souls, those... I don't believe that hit. Like... Oh my god, it looks like I'm nowhere near that attack. I'm gonna stop contesting that altogether. I haven't been contesting it largely. I thought I had that super clean. Guess not. Guess I'll die. Yeah, I think subtle things like directional buffering and input buffering, and whether or not that exists, how long the window is, and where your armor frames are on a dodge, um, are very subtle aspects of. They're very subtle aspects from like a planning stage. Like you're not gonna necessarily sit in a boardroom and talk about like how the buffering should work, but for the feel of the game, that's hugely important. Let's just move out of here instead of me taking that opportunity. Why don't you come on out here and play around? Backstab number 1. That's very risky. I think that's the earliest I've ever seen him do the burst attack. Dang it! Yeah, he was just in that no break time for me mode. And I got clipped. Yeah, sometimes he likes to do that long melee sequence, and then he'll link it up with the drag. And then he has follow-ups on the drag for as long as he wants to. So he can just kind of do that sequence for a while, unless he gets countered along the way. And countering him on something like the drag with the pistol is inconsistent. You can shoot over him. So I'm not going to try to learn that. It's like if I learn an inconsistent strategy, I'm like building my own Trojan horse in the fight, and that's no good. Okay, I was too far away to actually go for that punish. I was too far away to actually go for that punish, and my directional bias on jumping over the jump rope was a little sketch. Because I want to be going to the right so that I can cleanly pivot around him. Going in set me up in a circumstance where I would have to dodge out on the slam, and as we know, that slam is huge. I did want to jump into this, like, at this time in the morning, because I can be, like, more alert than my usual play hours. This is usually, like, I think my good business time of day. It's like, okay, now I get to play Bloodborne at an hour of the day where I may be a bit better at analyzing problems. Ah, I didn't have it right, and I was standing too close. Okay, about to say, like, please let me move away for a bit. There we go. Nice of you to oblige. There's backstab number 2. Your dodge on that projectile has to be pretty late. Missed my backstab there, as I strafed around too far. Backstab number 3. Backstab number 4. Take a visceral. That's like 1/3 of a backstab, so that's cool. Too far away for that. Backstab number 5. I was too late on the gunshot. Backstab number 6. So we're going to find out if it's number 7 or number 8 that puts him into transition. The fact that I took a visceral might adjust that. Not going to contest that. I've seen it hit me for, like, no reason. So we're not going to hang out for that. Oh, I was that close? And there's the payoff. There's one more, and then the visceral. Okay, so it's very shortly after backstab 7. Dang it. Yeah, that angle was like doom. I think I might have been able to dodge behind him to avoid that, but that was a really peculiar angle for him to use that advancing, like, pustule attack. I was too close. I was standing too close for one of his triple slams. For the triple slam, I'm supposed to let him do it. I need to stay a little bit out of it, and then I need to unlock so I can walk underneath him. It is very persnickety spacing, but it's a very important opening in phase 2 because it's one of your only guarantees. It's less positioning dependent than other things. There's a lot of other things where, like, if I'm behind him and he chooses to do this, I might be able to get a punish. I was studying this stuff, like, online earlier, and I'm hoping that the knowledge is not faded with all this time I've spent fighting the phase 1, which is, like, the trick. Is, like, keeping that awareness despite having to fight through this stuff. So we've got one backstab. 2 backstabs. So it seems as though it's the 7th backstab with a certain amount of ancillary damage, or the 8th backstab if I'm only doing backstabs. I can't always control for my ancillary damage output because some of my ancillary damage is backstabs that happen to miss. So overall, I would prefer to not worry about whether or not I'm getting an ancillary damage until I'm at the 7th backstab. I believe this is the 3rd backstab. I could have gone in on that. Wow, camera. You're really trying here. This is the 4th backstab. I need to unlock for that window. It's pulling me left hard. I'm like trying to hit other directions to correct my angle. But that setup is just not allowing my attack to be in the right spot. I did a late version of that setup there. Like, I was not right on top of the attack. So if I had done an earlier response, I might have had more time for the pivot while he's doing his second swing. But I am just hitting straight on the body every time I go for that, almost every time. I've gotten that backstab before just by strafing it correctly, but I'm just gonna I need to unlock on that in the future. I whiffed because I was trying to overcorrect for the game not overcorrecting me. Yeah, that was me like strafing to the logical limit of the time I had available to strafe, and it's not enough. It's just not lining me up. It's either that or I'm not like responding correctly visually to his body being twisted for the swing that he's doing. It is unnerving to be able to dodge the attacks but not get the punish right. And it's not that I'm getting the punish wrong on like timing, it's weird angle stuff. When I was first sitting down, and when I was talking about this while I was playing the other games, it was like, man, backstabbing is so broken in Dark Souls. It's so nice that in Bloodborne you need to like land this charge attack. It feels like really skillful to actually get backstabs. Fighting these late bosses, I've almost reversed that opinion. Yeah, I am no longer happy with this mechanic. Look at that! It's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna bother to. You're not gonna get that. I'm gonna go nuts from missing my opportunities in phase 2. Ah, that was bad timing for me. I was just being reactive. I wouldn't say that I'm tilted right now, but I'm a little exasperated by some of the nonsense that's happening over the course of these fights. I feel like I understand phase 1 sufficiently, and I just want to grind on phase 2. And the things that are screwing me up in phase 1, some of them are execution errors, but others are just like hitbox inconsistencies. That's a feels bad, man. As it feels to me like I'm doing about the same things and getting different results. Definition of madness, man. Alright, there's one backstab. That's what I thought he would do if I stood behind him. No backstab. Don't worry about it. Yeah, these setups are unnervingly precise. And the other half of it is, like, the amount of damage I'm doing to him is basically balanced around the fact that he's vulnerable to backstabs. For the most part. I mean, an older boss like Manus in Dark Souls 1 is not vulnerable to backstabs, and is maybe similarly fast to the Orphan of Kos, somewhat. He does not do as much damage. And that's like the same thing you were talking about, is like the end boss of a DLC. Even then, like, my basic attack damage against the Orphan is like 100, like 160. End game damage against the against Manus is like 220, which maybe doesn't sound like that much, but it's half again, almost. A proper half again on that would be 240, which I think is not quite what it is. And if I could do like 240 damage to him per hit, maybe I'd be fine with this being like an attack that's just decided by basics. But the other half of that is, by and large, Manus isn't going to full undead to you in a single hit, unless you get hit by some very, very specific attacks. Orphan of Kos will, like, casually full the dead you. I'm glad I got that one. I'm worried about some of these where he's able to return to neutral stance, but they're still fine openings. See, that I don't even get. Like, that was about as fast as I could do anything. I just, like, pivoted one step too far to the right, and so I'm not attacking his back, apparently. Oh, man. Ugh. Um, he can do the yo-yo swing into a slam. He can do jump rope slam or jump rope. And they position his body a little differently. And I'm not responding to visual cues quite right, it seems. I'm trying to go for the same general area. His slam ending is clearer where I need to be for the backstab. But since it's an overhand swing from the character, the actual location where you trigger the critical is like a little different. This attempt is all over the place, but whatever. I was in the mood to just, like, discard the set play for a bit, and just, like, fight him and get in hits. Because a lot of what I've been going for is, like, the cleanest version of the fight, the cleanest, safest version of the fight, where you avoid a lot of attacks with the minimal effort. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Woo. So I recognize that people refer to this as like one of the more challenging bosses in Dark Souls. Like Slave Knight Gale was a challenging fight, but everything Slave Knight Gale does is remarkably fair. It's very well telegraphed. You have your dodging in Dark Souls 3 is really nice and particular. You've got a good spread of weapon options. There's like there's like nothing clunky in that fight, except for maybe his like arrow spray is nasty, but you can avoid the crossbow spray. This feels hard in cheap ways. Yeah. I mean, that's on me. If I had pivoted slightly to the right while I was moving, I think it would have missed. Like the challenge from this fight comes out of he has this quick attack where the splash damage of he has the quick projectile where the projectile doesn't kill you, but the splash of the projectile can kill you, and you almost have to invuln dodge the splash each time because well, the timing on it's variable because it's a projectile, but it's lethal at BL4. And maybe if I was like a higher level character, it wouldn't feel as nasty. But it's just lethal here, and it doesn't need to do that much damage to fulfill the role of like a ranged attack in a good designed combat. Like that attack could do half my health bar, and it would like feel fine in terms of the flow of the combat. Like that would be a good nasty trick. It's a quick attack. It like keeps the player a bit on the defensive. We've got these slams, and the area that this slam hits is preposterous, honestly, because I'm nowhere near the weapon. I'm not even near what I would think is the reasonable like upquake of the weapon slamming into the floor. I'm standing next to the boss at the hilt of the weapon, but I take lethal damage from that attack, like the full brunt of it. And that's just not a great game feel. And there are several times where I've been hit by these slams, even though my character was able to move out of the area that visibly looks like a slam, like in a reasonable sense. And if you wanted it to have this hitbox on upwelling from the ground, why didn't you just use this pink burst effect you've already like drawn in to delineate where the attack actually hits? Then we've got these circumstances where, like, I can't quite get the backstab to work. And it's not like I can't get the backstab to work because it's not necessarily that I can't get it to work because I'm responding to the attack incorrectly. Sometimes that happens, sure. Like that's my fault when that happens. But there are other times where I'm in about the right spot. I'm literally like one step off from the location where the backstab would hit because I need to line up the weapon's like slash trajectory, which is different based on how high I'm angling the camera. And a human being can't compensate for that, or like what that is. Like, oh yeah, maybe I missed that backstab because I was looking too far to the ground. Wow. That's a component of this boss fight. And you could avoid that question if the boss was backstab immune. I think landing backstabs in Bloodborne is cool, but if you want that to be a factor on the fight, why don't you just make the boss's back hitbox a little bigger so that there's an element of consistency there? So like, okay, you dodged the attack, you committed to the R2, you hit like in this area, yeah, that's a backstab, you're fine, you're cool, just do it. I think those are probably my only 3 complaints about the boss fight. There are probably some really screwy hitboxes that exist in the second phase that I haven't like had to deal with yet. There was one attack he killed me with a couple like yesterday, where I got killed by a he just kind of ran at me or like moved into me and it was a kill, and I was quite summarily confused by that. I don't like to spend all the playtime complaining, but I do want to talk about something. There's nobody in the chat right now to like chat with. And I think to some extent this is like legitimate analysis. Like, look at that. That's not a backstab? That's not a backstab. Where is his back? I think that hit his legs instead of his torso, and so I didn't get a backstab. Like, I have to hit at least his hip. I'm going to try angling my camera up. I'm locked on, so I'm not sure how impactful that is. But I think that might be the kind of thing where, like, yeah, you didn't hit the backstab because your camera angle was, like, here, and it made your cut hit his legs instead of his body. And that might be what we're dealing with here, because for a lot of his attacks, he kind of hunches and does weird things. And maybe I'm hitting him when he's hunched, but not when he's upright, because I'm looking too far down. Can I control the angle of the camera when I'm in the There was another thing in the controls about that. No, that's in Dark Souls 3. In Dark Souls 3, you can set it up so that while locked on, you can't angle your attacks. Because Dark Souls 3 also has this mechanic. They just kind of recognize that there's an oddity about it. Yeah, okay, while I'm locked on, I can't control the angle, but the slope of the ground affects the angle. So fighting him on the beach changes the trajectory of my swing. Man. Backstab 3. Backstab 4. Backstab 5. So rather than the butt, maybe it's the rib cage I should be aiming for. Like the back of the ribs. Full heal. I think that was number 5. Yeah, it looks like 5 based on his health bar. Backstab 6. Okay, so backstab 7 should put him in... Nope. I already had him in phase. 2. Third backstab to visceral. Yeah, it's that there is like 1900 damage. I got stuck. Okay, I missed an opportunity there. Okay. Visceral. Okay, so he can turn around after the visceral. So after the visceral, let's follow him and try to wrap that around the side if he's doing that turnaround swing. And I think I might be able to get another backstab off. Yeah, so after he does a big swing in the second phase, I should wrap around clockwise, unlock. And if I wrap around clockwise and unlock, he's going to do some random follow-up, and I should be able to walk up and hit him in the back. And I think that works most of the time. And let's see, for each of these punishes in phase 2, we're basically doing like 400, 900, 400, 400, 900, 400, 300 ish. So that's like it's like a 1900 damage punish, and we're getting him down to 40% with about 7 or 8 hits for 1200. 7 or 8 hits for 1200, meaning that 60% of his health is like, let's see, 7,000 plus 1400. Somewhere like 8,000 and a half or 9,000 health is 60% of his health pool. So the extra 40% would be like maybe, I don't know, 6,000, give or take. Which would suggest that 4 backstabs in the second phase is more than enough. And we're at the point where we're getting 2 backstabs in the second phase. On a good run. That's a fine window, but we're going to take the healing. Dang it, I moved in, so I got to eat it on that. He gave me a good window there, so... And this is a good healing op. Now we're fine. Back in it. That was dicey. Shoot. Yeah, I didn't have the time to get in. I used a lot of healing that run. That's not great. Yeah, aiming for the torso with the backstabs is... It feels maybe a little bit more correct, but it's definitely still inconsistent. Orphan of Kos is like effectively the last boss. He's not the last boss that I have to beat for this run, but he's the hardest boss. I've got one more boss in the DLC, which is Lawrence the First Viker. I've had access to Lawrence for longer, but I wanted to go to Kos first to like focus on him, because this is the one that everybody talks about. Lawrence is more like monster-shaped. He's got these really big area of attacks. I'm not sure just yet how to start the fight. And then I've got the actual bosses for like the baseline endgame. Which are Hunter Gehrman and the Moon Presence. Okay, camera, get out of here. But that's a lot of why I'm comparing him to the design of like Slave Knight Gale. Like, Gale absolutely showcases the experience the team gained over the course of making the other 2 Dark Souls games and Bloodborne. Fight is not only epic, but it's very fair. And that's super cool. Yeah, for all of the, every single death I took fighting Slave Knight Gale felt like it was my fault. And for that matter, the Demon Prince and Midir are also, like, very consistent, very fair endgame boss fights. And they feel like the endgame, because they're difficult, they can kill you pretty fast. They've got a decent amount of HP. You need to like understand the boss very sufficiently to get the win. Yeah, I'm like trying to pull that as far to the right as I can, and it's just not going. Which is not how the backstabs worked on Lady Maria. I think actually what I'm recognizing here is something about the way directional buffering on backstabbing works, or on charged R2s. I think you need to re-tap the direction. Let me muck with that a bit. I think that a direction you are holding before inputting the charged R2 will not affect the charged R2's direction. It's either that, or I'm being misled by the influence of the lock-on. I didn't know he could end that with a yo-yo swing. Whoa. Quick toss. I would have been a bit upset to get killed by that. Camera, why? The camera like screws up when he does that specific thing. It's because his dodge, his rush forward is like pushing into me, and instead of the camera falling back with me, it's like wrapping around him. I don't know why that happens, but that's not the first time that's happened. Other times I've dodged it anyway, just on the basis of timing. And I can still dodge it based on timing, but it makes my position completely random. Like, it's really, really hard to compensate for. The true final boss rears its ugly head. Ugh. It's that particular sequence that makes it really weird. I might be able to do a better job of it if I'm trying to go around to the side on his slam. But I think he'll just correct his drag after the slam anyway. One backstab. Whiff. It was a greedy heal. I'm going to try playing the fight super greedy for a bit, to see if I can weave in some more opportunities between things without relying so much on the set play. I think if I can do that successfully for a while, it's going to train me to be better at a couple of attacks. It's less likely to succeed overall, but doing this for a while should raise my consistency during like panic moments in the fight, so that I don't like lose all at once when I'm in a good run, or so that I have like the option to recover. Basically, I'm going to try and close quarters him for a while to just build like general first phase skill. Oh, whoops. I hit a button while I was putting my hand back on the controller. One backstab. Okay, yeah, that didn't backstab. Yeah, because I wrapped around in front of him actually, and I hit him in like the front of the leg there. If there was a I wish there was a training dummy. Back over in the Hunter's Dream, because I can't figure out intuitively how my actual directional inputs are affecting some of my charge attack trajectories while I'm locked on. So I need something that I can lock onto so that I can figure that out. But I'm not really willing to, you know, faff about with an early game enemy and get killed. Because I need to figure this out on an enemy that won't die if I charge attack it. I suppose and I need to be swinging this weapon because I don't want to learn that for another weapon. It's weird. Please stop. Yeah, if you stand close to him, he just gets in a mood. He'll just kind of keep going, which is why the accepted strategy is staying away. Because there's certainly like a couple attacks in there that I think have windows that are punishable. Like some of his overhead slams, these working into these combos. He's got a long enough delay, and they hit a specific enough location that if you like pick it out, you can strafe it and like get a big interrupt on him. But I think what makes staying close to him really dangerous is the fact that he has the propensity to cancel certain attacks and strings into this dragging combo, and he comes out of that really fluidly. First backstab. Second backstab. Third backstab. Fourth backstab. Yeah, still not going to contest that one. Too random. Fifth backstab. Some of my attacks look like they don't hit him, and those are acceptable backstabs. Like, that looks like it could have just as easily been a whiff, but the game will give that to me. Sometimes. Yeah, that won't work. But that will. I might have him in phase transition. Doesn't look like it. I did have him in phase transition. Thankfully, there's a lot of time to come in and get this backstab set up. Okay. That's the lightning attack. Make sure we're good and far away. Yeah, I was in the wrong spot for a bit there. If I was in the right place for that earlier attack, I think I might have had enough time to do something about it. There's a lot of cases in the second phase where I'm like not really sure what's happening, but I'm just gonna go. Because hitting those windows is so clutch. I only need to hit the window like 3 times. It's one of those like alluring cases where it's like I might be able to luck into this. Noise. Like some morning grogginess. Yeah, I'll join you in a bit. It's like weird because I'm frustrated mildly by certain irregularities in this boss, but I also feel a strong sense of progress. Oh, you just got your booster. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, that's tough. So close to Christmas, no less. Hope that doesn't hold you down too much for the holiday. Gotcha, gotcha. I was telling some folks last night a little bit of your PA stories. I got to end the one with like, yeah, and then he came back from that altercation, and that was maybe the happiest I've seen him in a couple of months. I got a big chuckle out of Adam on that, as I thought he might enjoy that. I'm not landing. I forgot where to throw in that gunshot, and I had that for a while. I think it's one more backstab for phase change. Nope, there's phase change. I was too early. Dang it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's one of those peculiarities about like adult polite society is we have to spend so much time like holding back and enduring and dealing with stuff. Um, and certainly like our regular society theoretically cannot allow this on like in a normal circumstance, but there is absolutely a proper place for violence in the world and in conflict resolution and in all these things. Like there are times when violence is the appropriate answer to a problem, and like people can respect that. Um, but we have to like in order for society to go on and for us to live our lives, um, we have to force ourselves to like be ignorant of that on the regular. And it's not enlightening so much as it is terrifying when you realize and understand when you can apply violence to like precede a circumstance. And I actually think about it uh, in like a more general sense. Um, just adulthood and capability and like economic stability carry with them a certain power. Um, and thinking about how to express power in the world is like alien and terrifying. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. That is the proper place for violence in like our casual society is defending yourself, defending those dear to you. But it's not something we think about normally, and we have to like drill the opposite of that into our brains to go on. in society. Oh, whoops. Yeah, both of those dodges didn't quite come out on time. They didn't show up to the station. Let's see, I think I've gotten phase 2 maybe like 4 times in this sitting, maybe 5. That is, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best way to capture it. We have an understanding that the one to throw the first punch is always the guy who's in the wrong. But I don't think that's the case. Because there are things that people can do in terms of like their posture, their presence, spoken threats especially, that are tantamount to throwing the first punch. Like, I think one of the things our country does wrong, that is done correctly in other places in the world, is like Nazism, Nazi paraphernalia, and like Nazi speech. We should recognize that all of those things are inherently a provocation to violence, and so nothing that is that way should be protected by free speech clauses. Yeah, yeah, that's true. So like if somebody goes out into the street and they're like popping a Nazi salute, everybody should be within rights to punch that guy in the face. Because you go out in the street and you throw that kind of shit down, you are slapping everybody. And I think it should be like not even just not even just socially acceptable, but fully legal to hurt those people until that behavior stops. I think we could really move forward as a country if we just like stood up and recognized that. Dang it. That was my bad. If I dodged right, that would miss me for days. If I dodged right or straight backwards, I dodged back into the left. You know, at some point I should really read the lore about some of the old hunters. Like the nature of Ludwig and Gehrman and Lawrence and how this all came to be. Certainly, like, Ludwig's Holy Blade is huge in terms of the lore and things. And he was the progenitor of the Healing Church. But I think that he maybe was not the one who was responsible for the heinous things that result in the church's beginning. And the beginning of the Healing Church is really what we're getting into with the Old Hunters DLC. Ah, whiff. That should have been a backstab. Ah, if I had moved in faster, I could have gotten him on that. I think you're right about that. But I think the fact that we allow those people to, like, assemble and protest, or, like, to assemble and have rallies, I think is nonsensical. That's the thing we need to stop. Even in a dream. can we get this stuff to line up correctly and land these hits? A hunter is a hunter. Whoop! I was taking my eyes off him for a bit there. But I got the backstab in clean because he decided to go off the handle. Okay, so if he does the 2 overhead slams, it looks like I can punish him. I got nervous there. That's on me. I completely lost my mind on that. I was just like, punish? No, don't move in. Wait, I'm too late. Go back. Oh, too bad. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Enjoy your, covenant stuff. What was the, I forgot the name of the covenant that does that. Well, enjoy your cooperative hunting. But yes, I am destined to go it alone. Doomed. Cursed, perhaps. Oh, you know what? We even got little snowflakes. As we're heading in to fight the orphan, of course. Wouldn't it be nice to have some snow around Christmas time instead of like randomly in May, as we tend to? It's 2 backstabs. What's next for you, orphan? There we go. With that timing of going in, if he didn't throw out the follow-up, I don't think I could get the hit. Oh, I could have punished that one too. Oh, that would have been so cool. Well, I'll settle for this. Okay, so from that distance, that's a little too far away for me to get that punish. Yeah, I think when I've gotten that successfully, I'm usually like already in the area where the circle would be. So there, I think it was more towards the border. It's like maybe 2 character lengths too far away to get that to get in there and get it done. Well, thank you for the follow, Deviate. I forgot to change my default audio device before I booted this up, so I'm not actually hearing the notifications in stream. But I see them nice up in chat. That's why we got the chat bot. Clonk. Hiya. Oh, you know what? The Bloodborne critical backstab noise would be a pretty cool notification noise. I also think the new area discovery noise would be a cool like sound effect to include. I'm gonna back off for this so I can heal. Oh, and this is my last set of vials. I think after I've depleted this set of vials, I'm gonna switch over to 7 days and I'll join you, Lag Strike. Throwing stuff like a rude boy. Ow. fully topped off because several of his attacks are not quite lethal. I have, like, gotten along the wire there. Don't worry about starting up without me, though. No, I knew I might have that wrong when he jumped in the air like that. So I missed my backstab. Then he went into that delayed swing. Yeah, I think so long as I have at least 10 vials going into the attempt, I feel good about it. Because I'm not going to use that many anyway. I think that more than 4 vials during one of these fights is very odd. I think I'm sometimes using... Well, it usually takes me 3 to fully recover from a swing. And I need to be fully recovered to endure the same attack I just took. It's like the weird problem with these attacks. I think actually I could do well to switch Covenants. Vials heal 40%. There's a Covenant you can swap into that changes that to 42. That is true. The early days are a little, like, meh. The questing updates certainly help. Oh, man. Ugh. I know when he walks up into my face, like, right in my face, that he wants to do the forehand slap. And I've been, like, trying to think to myself, should I change my response to the forehand slap from dodging backwards to dodging left? And will I get anything for doing that? But thinking about that and thinking about making that change is dulling my reaction a bit. So I think I should just keep moving backwards when he's trying to do that. Yeah, it definitely, like, comes and goes. I think sometimes you, like, hit the focus right on it, and then it just falls right back out. And there's only so much the coffee can, like, bring it back before I have to go easy. Backstab number 2. Just gonna move away from that. I am done with, like, trying to figure out some fancy thing to do after his drag slap. Definitely too far away to punish that. Yeah, from now on I'm only going to be trying to punish that from very close ranges. Ah, that's on me. I could have gotten that. Okay, that is also on me. Wow, I'm in a head fog all of a sudden. Ugh. I'm not reacting to things correctly. Let me stretch out for a sec. Ugh. Oh boy. Oof. Oh man. You tense up in no time flat. Okay. Woof. Yeah, that's a whole different feel in my body. Yeah. Hmm. What was I thinking there? I'm like, yeah, I can just walk over this, right? That's fine. It's not how it works. Consequentially, not how it works. Woo! Yeah. Rattling around to other topics. I did reach the point, playing yesterday in the Oxygen Not Included run. I reached the point where I have access to cloth, I can make spacesuits, and I have just drilled up to the top of my asteroid so that I can start, like, actually trying to, like, look into space and building like a telescope and all that nonsense. What I'm about to face is the new challenge. Oh, I also like got electrolysis pretty much set up. It's like not always stable. My power production's a little choppy because I'm a little dependent on natural gas for my incoming power, but my natural gas geyser went dormant, so I was like really on the ropes for that for a while. Come on, buddy. Do me a solid here. Wow, I'm just going to dance around him for a bit. So I'm going to be building a telescope soon, which is exciting. I did find out accidentally that I like boxed in the natural gas geyser a bit more so that I could like, you know, get the natural gas without using so much space. But it started venting, and I realized that my what's it called? My air pump did not have enough heat tolerance to directly siphon off the natural gas without allowing it to cool a bit, because it pumps out at like 150 C, which is ridiculous. And the tolerance of the pump is 75 degrees Celsius baseline. So I need to go back and rebuild the pump out of another material so that it's more heat tolerant. My electrolysis pumps work fine, because electrolysis always produces your oxygen and hydrogen at 75 degrees Celsius. No slaps for you. No slappy. Blonk. Blonk. Do one of the punishable things. I don't usually go for that, but I was in the mood. It got me the backstab. That I punished too late, so I lost like 400 damage. I wasn't sure if it was going to get the backstab, so I didn't go for the charge. I didn't buffer the second charge attack immediately. And that's the thing, like, not all of these backstabs are consistent, but you need to be going for the backstab punish immediately, or you lose tons of damage payoff. Didn't get the gunshot timing correctly. That dodge was not okay? Are you kidding me? I'm way over there! I'm behind him! I'm behind. Come on, I'm trying not to get exasperated, but seriously? Seriously. I was all the way over there. Something about that hitbox is able to trigger... I think something about that hitbox is able to trigger damage while I'm dodging. And I have thought, from some of the ways these other things are working, I had thought that the invuln frames on the quick step were almost immediate, but maybe they're not. Maybe I'm quick stepping too late. Oh, I thought that would just whiff. Nice, 2 in a row. If you want to just do that like 4 more times, I think everybody at home would appreciate that. Dang it. Yeah, something about how to get that gunshot I've definitely, like, forgotten. This will officially be my last attempt because I'm now sub 10 on blood vials, and I'm not in the mood to go back and farm again. Definitely forgot where that gunshot should be, and that's the second phase. Didn't get the backstab on the second phase. Didn't get to the right spot. Right, okay, he does the jump, and then he does one more thing after the jump. I think that's about consistent, more or less, with that particular jump. Okay. Well, I will be learning more about that later, because we're going to take a break on Bloodborne. I don't think I'm going to be back to Bloodborne today, but I might be on Bloodborne a lot later tonight, depending on how I'm feeling. We're gonna see about it. I also need to figure out what the heck I'm cooking today. And if I'm gonna order something, I better do it fast, because I think everything's gonna close. All right. I hope everybody has a great holiday. Thank you for checking in with me. I'm probably like you're probably watching this in an upload in the far-flung future because I think only like 1 or 2 people actually watch my YouTube uploads at this point. But maybe you're watching this a couple months later, catching up on my good old content, and thank you very much for that. I hope you have had, in that case, a very happy holidays. And if you're watching right now, special thanks to you. This has been Jupiter Exile. I hope we wander again soon. Good night. Well, good day. It's not night.